Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 578 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Heidi, and I just want to say it is so good to be with you, even if we only get a few minutes together each week. I feel like those minutes matter a lot because we're working to be our best selves. And by doing that, we're spreading goodness into the world. That's really how it works. It does affect everyone you're around when you're working to be your best. It inspires them to do the same. And that's what we do here, try to find practical ways to live our best life, whether that's through mindset shifts or personal growth or just figuring out how to show up as our most confident self, which is what I'm talking about today, because confidence has been on my mind this week. Like, how do we have it? How do we build it? It's so much better when we feel confident. And usually, when you're doing things, if you feel confident, it's like you can do anything. So how do you walk into a room and own it, whether it's a big meeting, a first date, or even just a tough conversation with a friend? I've been thinking about it a lot this week. A while back, I saw an interview with Kobe Bryant, and he said something that has stayed with me for years since I saw that interview. He was asked about his confidence, like how he could step onto the court and just know he was going to dominate. His answer is that he said he's confident because he's prepared. He'd practiced, he'd studied, and he'd worked so hard that he knew he was ready. Every game, every shot, every moment, he showed up prepared. And that preparation was the root of his unshakable confidence. And I've thought about that interview so many times over the years. It's like a light bulb went off in my head. Like, confidence isn't something you're born with or that you automatically get or just some people magically have. And it's not something you really can fake it until you make it. It's something you build through preparation. When I'm feeling nervous about a meeting or a presentation or even a big decision I have to make, I realize it's often because I haven't done the proper work to feel ready. And when I do put in that work, it's magical. Like, I feel like I can handle anything that situation throws at me. And if something out of, my control happens in that way, I still know that I came into it prepared. And so I love that idea of doing that. And just this last week, I had a big meeting with one of my favorite clients. She's amazing. She's decisive. She knows what she wants, and she moves fast, which is awesome. But it also means that when I present something to her, I have to be 100% sure it's perfect because she's ready to pull the trigger and order everything right then and there. She's done it to me before. So there's no second guessing, no hemming and hawing. I mean, it is go time. So I started preparing for this meeting a week in advance, and I did a lot of the work a week prior to the meeting. I'm an interior designer, as I talk about, but I was working on space planning for her, and so I did sketches and selecting pieces for her project. We were doing several rooms, and I was choosing everything from furniture to rugs to lighting, and I had it all laid out, and I felt pretty good about it. But the day before the meeting, I started to get a little knot in my stomach, where you're like, hey, wait, did I miss something? Is this really as good as I think it is? Is each piece exactly what I want in those spaces? And I hadn't looked at my selections or drawings for a week because I'd finished it, prepped early. So now I could tell I was like starting to doubt myself, like, was this as good as I thought it was? And that's when Kobe's words popped into my head. Confidence comes from preparation. I realized I wasn't feeling confident because I hadn't revisited my work. I needed to double check it to make sure that I was 100%, 110% ready. So I took an hour and I sat down with my plans and I went through every single piece and I checked the scale of the furniture and the functionality of each piece and how the doors opened in the space and the rug sizes and the flow of the design and everything. And I asked myself, am I absolutely in love with this? Does this work? I usually say, would I put this in my house? But by the end of that hour, I knew I was ready, and I really still loved every choice, and I could stand behind it with total conviction. So the next day when I had that meeting, I walked into that feeling like Kobe walking onto the court. And when we sat down, we started going through the designs. And after just a few minutes of showing her things, my client looked at me and she said, Heidi, I trust you. Everything you've shown me looks beautiful. There's not a single thing I don't love. Let's do it. Let's order it. Let's just move forward. Now, if I hadn't done that extra hour of preparation, I would have been a nervous wreck in that moment. My heart would have been pounding, thinking, oh no, what if I miss something? What if it doesn't fit right? What if the doors, what if the flow isn't good, or door opens into a chair, the normal things you don't want to happen. But because I'd put in the work, I could sit there and say, awesome, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And that's the power of preparation. It doesn't just make you ready, it makes you confident. And confidence is catching. I was confident and she felt that. So it made her confident too. And we were able to make decisions right then and there. I remember when I first started in design, I was not as confident, and that's catching too. So a client, if they think you're not sure, then they're not sure. But if you're sure, they're trusting you because they're paying you to make sure that it looks good. So you have to have that confidence. And I'm telling you all about this because I think Kobe's lesson applies to all of us, no matter what we're facing, whether you're preparing for a job interview, a creative project, or a tough conversation, or even just trying to feel more confident in your own skin. The answer is the same. You have to do the work. Preparation isn't just about checking boxes. It's about giving yourself the foundation so that you can trust yourself. I mean, think about it. When you've studied for a test and you've studied hard and you've put all that time in, you walk into the test room and you feel like you've got this. If you've rehearsed a speech and you can deliver it without tripping over your words, when you walk in there, you've got this. I mean, when you have worked hard on your mindset, when you've worked hard on your body and your growth, you can walk into a room feeling pretty darn confident, regardless of what's going on. When you have your own back and you've been doing all the right things to make yourself feel good and confident, you've got it. Preparation builds that bridge between doubt and confidence. I mean, that's the bridge that we always want. Now, I know that you might be thinking, okay, well, I don't have time to prepare for everything. And I get it. Life is busy. But here's the thing. Preparation doesn't always mean hours and hours of work. Sometimes it's 10 minutes of just reviewing your notes before a meeting. I had 1 hour that I spent. Now, I had spent a lot more time than that on the project. But just taking 45 minutes to an hour and just saying, okay, yep, it's all exactly right. Or sometimes it's just practicing a conversation in your head while you're driving, or taking a deep breath and reminding yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. The key is to identify what makes you feel ready, what will make you feel confident, and then do that thing. I know for me, just being prepared and trying to feel confident in life, exercising and eating for nutrition, along with working on my mindset every day through meditation and awareness, has me feeling confident before I even get started on my other projects. But I have to put in the work to feel that way. And then I have to make sure that I have prepared enough for anything I'm doing that I've left no room for doubt. Now, for me, that hour of double checking my design was what I needed to feel unstoppable. For you, it might be something different. Maybe it's researching a topic before a big discussion, or practicing a skill until it feels like second nature, or even just writing down 3 things you're proud of before you walk into a room. Whatever it is, find out what it is and then lean into it and do that thing. And I'll tell you something I do pretty regularly, and I actually do it every single morning, but I visualize my day before the day even has happened. So now I will visualize the day before and say, what did I do well? What could I improve on? And then I go to today and say, how is today going to look? Like, what am I going to do today? How is my meeting going to go? I say, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do this exercise. I'm going to put in this time. I'm going to, if I'm needing to reach out to someone, I'm going to reach out to this person. And so you visualize it before it happens, and you already know how it's going to go. I know how my meeting was going to go that day because I visualized it. Makes a big difference when you've basically already had a trial run in your head. So before your big moment, if you close your eyes and just picture yourself nailing it, You imagine how it feels to be prepared and confident when you walk in. I mean, that mental rehearsal, that's a form of preparation too. And you also remember to give yourself grace. If you don't feel 100% ready, not always are we going to feel 100% ready, but it's okay. Preparation isn't about being perfect. It's about giving yourself enough to trust that you can handle whatever comes your way. My challenge for you today is to think about one situation in your life where you want to feel more confident. Maybe it's a work project or a personal goal, or maybe even going to a social event. You have to ask yourself, what is one thing I can do to feel confident in that situation? And then do that thing. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to take forever. Sometimes just nailing it in your head first visually will help you, will have you feeling more confident so that you nail it in reality too. Try this, and I promise you'll feel a shift. You'll walk into that moment with a little more Kobe energy. Share this with 3 people who would love to have a little Kobe energy in their life right now. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.